This is your daily playbook for more hugs, kisses, affection, and sex.
I'ma tell you about a woman whose heart is sunshine, whose body burned hot. I'ma tell you about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes. I can tell by the way she moves that she cares.
Welcome to the C Note Show, guys, with myself, Jeff Allen, and Miss Cynthia Cruz. And Cynthia, of course, is an absolutely pivotal, integral, necessary linchpin part of this show. And I thank her so much for cultivating questions for the show. For yesterday, she completely designed and published the accompaniment to our audiobook yesterday, which is an ebook in and of itself. It's a 13-page ebook with tools and graphics and instructions and exactly how to go up the staircase, level 1, 2, 3. And she completely put that together herself with the graphics that she developed, and the quotes on the graphics are all hers. So I'd love for all of us to unmute ourselves and say thank you, and a huge thank you and love and shout out to Cynthia. So please do that. Unmute yourself and say thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia.
You rock, Cynthia.
All right.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and I saw so many of you all right now, our regulars in there yesterday. And thank you so much. You guys have been phenomenal, and we just honor you all. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. So let me start with, I'm just going to go right into some Thor Ragnarok. This week, we're going to talk about vulnerability, right? Vulnerability. What does it mean to be vulnerable? And how can I be vulnerable and attractive? What does it mean to be vulnerable as a man? Does that mean that I just share everything with her, that I cry at her feet, that I tell her that she's the world and she's my princess, and that's vulnerable, right? Right, Jason? Right, Jason?
9. No, 9. Hell no.
Jason, can you talk during the next 52 minutes? Are you going to be able to jump in?
I can be here, yeah.
Sweet. I would love for you to help me usher in this week's theme of the week of vulnerability. And so let me show some Thor Ragnarok. Here we go.
You're so thick-headed that you can't tell when someone's hiding all the way across the universe and wants to be left alone.
We need to talk.
No, you want to talk to me.
Stay. Please. Please.
Here's the deal. I'll listen to you till this is empty.
Asgard is in danger. If people are dying, we need to get back there. I need your help. Wow.
Finished. Bye.
Odin is dead. I'm going to stop her.
Alone?
Nope. I'm putting together a team. It's me, you, and the big guy. No team, only Hulk. It's me and you.
I think it's only you.
Please, listen. The Valkyrie are legend. Elite warriors of Asgard, sworn to defend the throne. Me. I choose to run toward my problems and not away from them. That's what... Because that's what heroes do.
They run toward their problems. So first of all, fun clip, right? I love Thor Ragnarok. If you haven't seen it, it's the most funny of the series. I think the director is different, so it jumps around and it's a lot more humorous. There was ad-libbing done by the staff, and it's really cool, really great. So I wanted to show that because not only is it badass, but he asks her to join him, right? He asks her to join him, and she has her own baggage. And so because of her, this is obviously simplifying it, but she doesn't want to join him because she doesn't want to risk her being vulnerable again and being hurt again, either emotionally or literally. And he's being vulnerable and asking her to come along with him. And she denies him, right? She shuts him down. So does he whine? Does he complain? No. He says, fine, keep on with your drinking, and I'll go run toward my problems myself, because that's my plan. I invited you to come along with me, but you don't want to do that, so that's cool. You go be your own self, and I'll go run toward my difficulties, my problems myself. Because that's what heroes do. Cynthia, I'd love a little bit of feedback from you on, and if you notice when Thor starts to say, "That's fine, you do your drinking and you stay here," and she's smiling. And I know it's a movie and she's an actress, but it looked like that little wry smile was pretty natural when he sort of stood up for himself and said, I'm going this way. You go ahead and keep on with what you're doing. I'm going this way. What is that like for a woman when a man says that, when he asks her, when he's vulnerable, steps forward, and then if she wants to do her own thing, he's basically fine with it and he's going to go forward on his path. What is that like for a woman? Give us some feedback, please.
That is, it actually feels really honoring, and it feels like you as a woman, you get to be free, and it also does a really intriguing thing, because whatever energy you are getting, or a sense of control that you were getting from being like, no, I don't want to do that with someone's like vulnerable ask, all of a sudden that like, whew, I could kind of push back against that, it dissipates. And so all of a sudden there's almost like this open space between you two, and she'll either in that moment step towards you, or go off and do her own thing, but it's not with such pushback and trying to control.
Without such pushback and control, he's not trying to control her. Yeah. So
Yeah, because we can only be avoidant to someone who's coming toward us, and I would have to say that it's human nature that we can kind of feel like, oh, I'm going to avoid this person. And if that person's not playing that game, all of a sudden that you like the energy leaves and you have nothing left to play with. So now you have to act and do something in a different way.
So good. So good. Did you guys pick up on that? That, someone can only be avoidant to someone else who's pushing in or stepping forward toward them. If you're not doing that, then they've got to go play their own game. So cool. I love it, Cynthia. So, gentlemen, raise your hand in the Zoom participant section to share and share your story or ask a question. And I want to get some more story from you guys today. Yesterday, for those of you that were on, we had a 2-hour call, and I felt like I did a tremendous amount of talking and teaching and tools and such. And we definitely have tools and things for today. And you can post questions on our private Facebook page, greatmenmovemountains.com/cnote, to contact us and request to be in the Facebook page. And our theme of this week, how to be attractive, confident, and vulnerable, right? All of those things. Because when she says, well, I don't feel connected with him, or he doesn't spend enough time with me, or I don't feel enough connection, generally it's because we're not being vulnerable and sharing emotional range of highs and lows. We don't know how to dive into the ocean and be vulnerable and connect with her and her bottom drawer emotions, like Cynthia says, or we don't know how to bounce back up out of the ocean and come back up and have a plan and bring the energy back up to maybe some humor or some forward progress. And I know Jason's going to have a lot to say about that in our show today. I'd love to hear from him in a second. So I want to share this. And Cynthia wrote this intro for us today. Your woman knows your weaknesses better than anyone. So Cynthia, jump in. This is from David Data. Yeah, thank you. So
yeah, and
where
this
did you
actually
find this? Go ahead.
Posted in the chat yesterday.
And from John Enslow, right?
Yes.
From Jonathan. Yeah, Patrick, this is from Jonathan. And he quoted this. I know Patrick's got a man crush on Jonathan, right? Right, Patrick? Give us a thumbs up. It's like whatever, Jeff, just go ahead and read it. Your woman knows your weaknesses better than anybody. She knows where you will falter and give up. She knows the degree of mediocrity you will settle for. And she knows your true capacity as a full man, a man of free consciousness and love. Her gift, if she is a good woman, is to test you with her darkest moods over and over and over until your consciousness is unperturbed by feminine challenge, and you are able to pervade her with your love, just as you are here to pervade the world. In response to your fearless consciousness, she will drench your world in love and light. From David Data. Cynthia, jump on and share with us, what does that feel like in your body when you are to pervade her darkest moods over and over and over, unperturbed? What is that like when a man does that with you, regardless of your, quote, darkest moods?
Well, right now it actually feels really deep and exciting because it's like he won't let me get away with the sullenness, the dark mood being like there's always the request to come out and be more. Um, in the moment though, for example, Jeff, if I'm kind of stuck in a darker mood and I'm getting some energy out of being in that place, and you invite my vulnerability in the moment, there's sometimes like I want to like bite back because it's like I just let me be like in my cave. Like to share with you what's going on would be a hugely vulnerable experience.
Yeah, and yesterday on our Zoom show yesterday, Tim Wade talked about a woman moving into man mode, and how the women that he worked with and does work with, some of them are very powerful multimillionaire women, and some of them even they themselves say they move into man mode to be successful in the world and to tackle the pragmatics of bills and children and business and stress in the world and stress with what's going on right now with quarantine. And that's what I think, Cynthia, if it's fair to say, you were just describing, is that shell, that protection that you want to put up for yourself. And me even trying to draw you through that, sometimes you give me pushback, even though have done your work and a very conscious woman. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and that's why it feels so good to be on these calls, because I can be outside of myself and I'm watching my reactions and my thoughts and going, gosh, this is such an automatic thing. It's like it's such a biological thing. It's an evolutionary thing. This is a real reaction. And I think once we kind of pull out that elephant, that, yeah, this is a real thing that happens in, you know, women's bodies. It's a way they've learned how to cope. It's a way they've learned how to be strong. That's the one of the first steps, as opposed to thinking that it's, only in some people and not in others.
Mm, yeah, only in some people. That's one thing that you and I have found, is that we all have the same set of emotions that either we pull from or we utilize as humans. Some of them are triggered much more easily because of childhood things, past trauma experiences, and school age years, right? Right, Jason? If you don't mind, I'd love for you to come on and share some today. If you don't mind, I'm going to put that out there now so you can. Oh, look, you unmuted yourself. Are you ready to share about what was it like for you? I'm going to jump a little bit, Cynthia, from man to woman, and we'll go back and forth. Okay, today, guys. When a woman's being vulnerable, what that looks like if she shields herself, or when a man's trying to be vulnerable. So, Jason, if you'd share a little bit of what you have come from regarding a man's world, when a man's supposed to be vulnerable, or what it means to be a man around vulnerability. If you'd share with us, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, I think, I mean, Cynthia posted that article, the Huffington Post article, and a lot of that had to do with Brene Brown's research on shame. And every time, one thing that I've really had to come to terms with for myself, as well as working with men and women, is just where shame comes from, and that vulnerability feeling. Men perceive as weak. Being vulnerable is weak, right? And you look at what there's a Boston College study out there that almost everybody quotes. What is perceived as weak, and or or how men react to shame, and it's always a perception of being weak or being perceived as weak. So when men go there, it's scary because we are getting close to shame, which is a trauma effect. I don't know. Guide me a little bit more about where you want to go with this.
Yeah, well, I love how you said Brene Brown, and then you also connected that when a man feels vulnerable, it's connected to weakness in some capacity, right? So Cynthia actually was brilliant and found the spot in Brene Brown's TED Talk on vulnerability, exactly where she talks about a man and on his white horse and falling off of his horse.
Shame for women is this web of unattainable, conflicting, competing expectations about who we're supposed to be. And it's a straitjacket. For men, shame is not a bunch of competing, conflicting expectations. Shame is one. Do not be perceived as what? Weak. I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, "I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men." And I said, "I don't study men." And he said, "That's convenient." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters?" I said, "Yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down." When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else. So I started interviewing men and asking questions. And what I learned is this. You show me a woman who can actually sit with a man in real vulnerability and fear, I'll show you a woman who's done incredible work. You show me a man who can sit with a woman who's just had it. She can't do it all anymore. And his first response is not, "I unloaded the dishwasher." But he really listens, because that's all we need. I'll show you a guy who's done a lot of work. Shame is an epidemic in our culture. And to get out from underneath it, to find our way back to each other, we have to understand how it affects us and how it affects the way we're parenting, the way we're working, the way we're looking at each other. Very quickly, some research by Mahalik at Boston College. He asked, what do women need to do to conform to female norms? The top answers in this country: nice, thin, modest, and use all available resources for appearance. When he asked about men, what do men in this country need to do to conform with male norms? The answers were: always show emotional control, work is first, pursue status, and violence. If we're going to find our way back to each other, we have to understand and know empathy, because empathy is the antidote to shame. If you put shame in a petri dish, it needs 3 things to grow exponentially: secrecy, silence, and judgment. If you put the same amount of shame in a petri dish and douse it with empathy, it can't survive.
Secrecy, silence, and judgment. That's how you grow shame. Secrecy, silence, and judgment. And that's why we talk so much about facing the dragon. And when I do one-on-one coaching, when Cynthia and I do, and Jason does, we face the dragon. We shine a light. We give it a voice. We give it a persona. We talk with it. We dance with it. And we have empathy with it and for him, that other part of ourself. I mean, it's funny, I didn't think about this, but the Hulk was in that clip of Thor Ragnarok, and that's what I call my anger. And when I go use the boardroom exercise, I speak with the Hulk and I have empathy for him. So Jason, you had typed in the chat, number 1 question from women clients is, how can I get him to open up? Number 1 reaction when their man opens up, as on the floodgates are open, that makes me scared after diving even a little bit. So she wants him to open up, but then it makes her scared when she does. And so we're talking about 2 things really, Jason, is when we speak with a woman, and then the shame we feel in and of ourselves, just in the world with men and coaches and our youth, and then when we face our women. So give me some feedback, please. That was 2 or 3 different things, but Brene Brown's talk on shame and how a woman would rather see us die than fall from our horse. Give me some more feedback from those.
Yeah, I also like to add in one thing that Brene left out on her TED Talk as far as that McCulloch study was men are required in our culture in order to be seen as masculine by having an outward disdain of homosexuality and femininity.
Yeah, femininity as well as homosexuality.
Femininity within themselves.
Oh, within
Not,
themselves. Gotcha.
not. I think most men can agree worldwide that we kind of hunger for femininity in others, in our women,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not within ourselves or within other men. And yeah, when I'm talking with men about being vulnerable, this is a huge hurdle. A huge hurdle that most men have to go over. I mean, it's they don't want to be perceived as weak, and then when they do open the floodgates, it's everything from how my parents treated me to my father to this and that, and it's there's a lot of raw pain that they've been holding in forever because why? We're supposed to be emotionally stoic. That's key to being a man, right? Nothing gets to you, nothing scares you, nothing bothers you. And when they open up, it's usually a flood. And um, the women's reactions when they've when we've dug deep has been this feeling of, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the rock. Nothing's supposed to bother you.
Right.
Um, this makes me feel scared. This makes me feel one of, and their reactions is fight or for some women incredible sadness, a loss of a hero maybe, in a way. And yeah, you got to stay on that white horse. It's not the reality. I'm just saying that's what the perception is out there. So
Well,
men
I'll
will
jump
do
in
it
for.
once.
Yeah, let me jump in
Yeah.
for 1 second. I'd love to get Cynthia's feedback on that. And the last thing you said was it's not the reality. Well, for some men, it's absolutely the reality, right? And for other men, it's
Right.
not. So, Cynthia, I'd love for you to have a little back and forth with Jason on what he just said, please, especially around when a man opens the floodgates. Because I could play both sides. Like, what does it mean to open the floodgates? And then what happens when a man is vulnerable to a certain extent or underneath a certain extent?
Well, yeah, I do think I want to bring up the idea of like a container of that for any of us opening the floodgate is perfect and wonderful and needed. But any of us are wanting to make sure like there's a container that we can, if we've dismounted off the white horse, um, that we know how to get back on. We know, how to put our foot in the stirrup and swing the leg over. It really hurts my heart and my soul that there's such a perception that you all feel that you have to be stoic, and then you have this like request from the feminine in your life, like share more. I want to know you more. I want to know what's going on inside of you. And then uh, to have that not to be able to be received. um, I do think the answer to that, though, is exactly what I said about having a container. And for women, too, I mean, I'm sure Jeff would agree that if, if I'm in like floodgates mode and I have no way to kind of recollect myself and have some intellectual confidence, that can become really wearing and not attractive. And I certainly did not have a container for myself in my teens and 20s. And there were, some men who would say to me, you're just way too intense. And they would enjoy going and being with someone else who was able to be more playful and not so serious.
Jason, I'd love for you to jump in if you'd like. We do have a tool too. I'm going to read the chat for a second. We're going to talk more about the tool that I'm. It feels really strange to actually say this, guys, that I developed about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I've talked about on the C Note show. It's the Don't Be a Tool tool. And of course, I'm utilizing over a decade of experience in this field, 4 years in private practice as a coach for men, and also doing my own work on the therapy couch years ago and such, right? So the 10,000 hours, certainly I've developed this tool. I didn't take this from anywhere, so I'm proud of it. And it's really strange to actually say that. Like, this I developed. So Ian asked a question in the chat. If we are to show vulnerabilities, do we need to have the tools or talk through solutions to address this weakness we are showing? I'm going to give you that tool today again, but don't be a tool. Like, I'm going to talk you exactly through it. It's the fastest, quickest way to repair after a misunderstanding or an argument that I know about. I literally used this 3 weeks ago, and it took me about an hour to really walk through all the pieces before I came back with Cynthia after I had an upset moment and asked to take a break. So this is something I use and I've developed myself. I'm going to show you today. This is also in Cynthia and my audiobook accompaniment. So for those of you that were not on the show on Sunday, I'm going to give you the link right now. It's greatmenmovemountains.com/free audiobook altogether. Okay. And so you guys, I'm going to say it like that. I don't want to give you the direct link because anyone who watches this on YouTube will need to go there and put in their name and their email address. So Cynthia, actually, if you want to type the direct link for our guys in the chat right now, that would be cool. Otherwise, for those of you that are not already on our email list or you're watching this on YouTube, right, go to greatmenmovemountains.com/free audiobook altogether like that and put in your name and your email and you'll have instant download access, instant listening access. I want to make sure it was instant for you. So like it takes less than 5 seconds once you hit go to play it. So you go down and you click go and it plays right away, or you can download it. And make sure you get the free accompaniment to it. It's basically an ebook that Cynthia did, like I said, that accompanies the audiobook. And in that accompaniment is the tool we're going to talk about today. And I'll introduce it right now, the Don't Be the Tool tool. Okay. So Ian, to answer your question, and we had I think Brett also say that his wife used to tell him to not be afraid to share his struggles, but she didn't want to hear them when the rubber met the road. When she left, one of her gripes was that I wasn't her rock. Words and actions have to match. Yeah, that's such a great topic. Oh my God. So Cynthia, let's talk about that more ongoing this week. Of she says one thing, but then her actions don't match. And she's intending to be able to hold your vulnerability, but then when it happens, it's a floodgate, and she's not ready for it. And she also doesn't know how to uphold a container or boundaries or the banks of the river like a man does, or a man should know how to do, does need to know how to do, and we teach that in this work too. If a man doesn't know how to hold the river banks or the sides of, let's say, an irrigation, right, and it just blows the walls down or blows up over the banks of the river, like floods like the Nile, then he's going to feel literally flooded with emotion and not have response to her. And so she's going to think, he's not listening to me. He's not connected. Okay. So when he blows open his floodgates, like Jason was saying, she's already not as skillful naturally necessarily as a man to hold the banks. And so his Nile comes and she just drowns and in fear, like Jason was saying. So this is really complicated. And it's so easy for someone, a man or a woman, to say, yeah, I'm here for you to share your feelings. I'm here, be vulnerable with me. And then he or she has no fucking idea how to handle and feels like they're drowning, or it just looks like a deer in headlights. And the other person's like, you're not connected to me. Well, yeah, they're not, because their mirror neurons are completely overloaded. They're like, I want to be there for you, but holy shit, it's just they're, at the bottom of the ocean with no skills, no tank, no air tank, no guide, no nothing. And they just feel like they're literally drowning in emotions, either on both sides. So if you can't tell, I'm passionate about this topic. And so Cynthia, thank you for bringing this up this week. This is phenomenal. We've got all week to talk about this. So guys, raise your hand if you want to share an instance. A big piece of this, on top of it making a cool video, which is true, a big piece of this is you sharing 3 or 4 or 5 minutes of your story of when you tried to be vulnerable, or the cusp of where you are in your relationship. So please raise your hand in the participants section, or put a question in chat, and we'll try to call you out. Cynthia, so let's give some. I want you to please jump in when you want, because I am going to share just this part first. This is like, okay, let's just say that you're skilled enough to do a warm up and like ask for a time to actually talk, or you're skilled enough to say, hey, I'd really like to share something that it was embarrassing for me. Okay, let's say you're good enough to do a preface, and a phenomenal preface, guys, is I'd like to share something that's kind of embarrassing for me. And I'll type that into the, I'll type that on the other page here in a second so you can have it. But that warns her, or even like your best friends, guys, of that you're about to share something from your gut here, and you're warning them. It's like, hey, get your scuba tank ready, get your snorkel ready, because I'm about to jump into the ocean and I'm asking you to come with me. So like, get yourself ready. Like, hey, I want to share something embarrassing with you. If you're even good enough to do that, that's fucking great. But let's just say you jump. What if you're not good enough to do that, and you call out the elephant? Hey, a part of me is angry about what happened earlier today, and I want to be vulnerable with you because a part of me is really angry. So Cynthia, if I say just that, like, hey, we need to talk. I'm angry about something, and I'm going to be vulnerable with you. Are you ready? Like, here we go. What is that like? God, I hate doing that stuff. So when it just feels so like for me to say it like that. So Cynthia, how does that hit you when I say that as a woman?
I'm definitely, I'm not so much when stressed the fight mode. I'm more of the flight mode. And so when you said, hey, we need to talk, it was like, like everything, my body kind of sucked back and was like, oh, what's going to happen? And you feel like that little kid who's about to get spoken to, or you're in trouble or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that trigger of you're about to be in trouble.
Yeah, and and then that kind of like just putting, well, I'm angry, out on the table again. I tend more toward the flight or freeze, so it's total like, oh, like what is going to happen, what is he going to say? And I also can feel the part in me that would want to like snap back about that and get pretty masculine and be like, oh yeah. um, so I could see that.
Yeah, you want to measure dicks? Here we go, buddy. Come on over. No, I'm sorry. Is that
Would not go well with you. You would
Oh my god.
scrape the floor with me with verbal.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was, yes, you're exactly right. Like, well, I don't know what to say. Kent raises. I'm going to segue out of that. Kent raised his hand. Kent, I'd love for you to jump in. Man, I can't unmute you, Kent. Can you do it yourself?
Yep, there we go.
There we go. Awesome. I'm going to jump to Kent, Scott in a second. So Kent, please. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. No, just a little experience of mine that I think really to just wanted to share. So the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to be very clear about my expectations for my personal space, and trying to find out what I truly want out of this separation. Literally on Thursday this last week, I told her, I'll be 100% truthful. I told her, I said, if you wake up some morning and realize you've made a mistake, or you realize this is what you truly want, I said, I don't know how I will respond. And, just trying to be truthful or where I'm at emotionally. And it's ironic that she left for a weekend by herself and actually came back early, and basically was emotional and wanted time with her kids, and she's saying she misses us and all the things I anticipated her, where her mindset kind of was. But I'm not, I'm still not in a place where I can fully accept it or trust it right now. but it's just amazing to, set your boundaries and, be upfront and vocal and be truthful with my expectations and my hopes and my visions that, she finally responded in a way that helped us connect a little bit more.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So she definitely felt you're half a step back, Kent, right? And you knowing
Mhm.
at least what you don't want right now. Part of your boundaries is knowing what you don't want and what you're not okay with. You broke up a tiny bit there. You had said, if you're open with me, I'm not sure how you will respond, or I'm not sure how I would respond. Is that what you had said?
I said, I was saying that, I told her that if she woke up one morning and just realized that she was making a mistake, or she truly wants to be with me, or this is the family for her, I said I didn't know how I was going to respond to that. So it's almost letting her know ahead of time, if this is in your head, this is, I don't know how I'm going to respond to it.
Okay, so I want to this you're at a pivotal spot. So Kent, if you don't mind, can I take you a half step forward here? Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, I want to just do a couple minutes of coaching. I'll put you on mute just for a second for the sound. So let me do 2 or 3 minutes of coaching here, and I'll show you a tool. Okay, so Kent, you're at an incredibly pivotal moment in your relationship with your separated spouse at this point. Okay, this is really important. So she feels, and I'm just going by feeling, by tremendous experience, and so take this for what you will. But let me give you a couple minutes of coaching here, okay? And I'll ask you a question. So she's almost like swinging back around. It sounds like she's softening. You've taken a half step back. So there's stages of coaching. There's stop fucking up. These are my names. You can tell. Stop fucking up. Grow a healthy space between the two of you is the second stage, and grow a healthy depth in yourself. And that's where you are right now. Okay. I'm growing my own oak tree roots, and I'm taking a half step back, not running away. Okay. Half step back, which is what you've done basically, Kent, right? And grow my roots, healthy, grow my roots. That's the second stage. And the third stage is ask. How do you ask for what you want? So you're dead in the middle of the second, starting to get ready to ask for what you want. And so she is like almost, it feels like she's ready to have you lead. Now, obviously that doesn't mean it's going to go perfect after that, but here's a tool I can give you right now for you to lead in some capacity. So I'm going to unmute you and get some feedback here in a second. You must have some type of leadership here. Otherwise, she'll feel like you didn't grab the reins. It's kind of like she's holding the reins up like this for you now. And if you don't grab them, she'll say like, she'll just basically, you'll have lost an opportunity to lead. Let's call it that way. All right. So here's how you can consider this. Let me just draw this really fast. This is more of my amazing artistic abilities here. Okay. So these are what I call levels of relationship. Levels of relationship. Super scribble. Okay, levels of relationship. And let's say up here is marriage, of long-term, monogamous, committed relationship. Maybe you don't have to call it marriage, but long-term, monogamous, committed relationship. Okay, down here is like a stranger or an acquaintance or a friend or a best friend, or okay, maybe it's a first date with a woman. Maybe it's a second or third date with a woman. Maybe it's going steady with a woman. Okay, you see? And so now you basically started over. You don't even know if you really want to be friends. Now you still have a wedding ring on, let's say. A lot of guys in this spot will still have a wedding ring on, but really you're kind of on the ground floor of levels of relationship, okay? So what you want to decide is question mark. Do you want to be friends right now? Or do you want to maybe like have a first date with her and see how it goes? And even this. So do you notice how if I didn't have anything in there, it's just blank? Okay. There's no leadership there. It's like, I don't really know. Right. But if I have a plan, my plan is I want to see if we can become great friends, or I want to see if we're going to start dating again. And so this is what let's call Barbie. Let's call your wife Barbie. I'm just going to call everybody's Barbie. If anyone actually has a wife named Barbie, I already apologize out there. So I'm just going to use that ongoing probably. So Barbie, if I go to Barbie and I'm like, you know, Barbie, I'm just not really sure. I'm still going to have to think about it. You know, she's like, fuck, this guy has no leadership. That's how she's going to feel. Right, Cynthia? I mean, jump in. If I'm like, hey, I don't know, right? What does that feel like? Like, okay, yeah, you came back early and okay, you know, that I'm not sure what I'm going to say to you. What does that feel like?
It actually feels really like disconcerting and kind of like scary because it's like I can be good and be in marriage, or I can be bad and not in marriage. So I really appreciate what you just said, because that offering of we'll see, like maybe we'll be good friends or maybe we'll start dating. There's still a little bit of anxiety in me, like, oh, you, Brett, are setting a boundary. And I got to get my stuff together here. But there's not tons of pressure. And there's also the opening of something new. Like, what? I'm curious what's going to happen. And that curiosity is a lot more of a positive forward energy than um, that avoidant like pushback.
Yeah, uh, she just I don't need to recap. She said it all. It's like, well, she's even afraid that there's nothing there. And Kent, you're in one spot, and yeah, I believe Cynthia, you referenced Brett, and we were talking to Brett too. Brent's in kind of a similar spot where his wife still has the mail coming to him, right, Brett? But you're separated and different places in quarantine. Anyway, so yeah, if I say, well, what I'm really thinking about is we've got a couple different paths we can go here, Barbie. Like, I'd love to be friends with you and great co-parents, or I'd love to see us start dating again. And you know what? I'm not quite sure which one of those two is going to happen. So here's what I'd like to do. Okay. So Kent, I'm gonna give you the tool of here's what I'd like to do. That's the plan. That's the vision. That's what we're teaching. But so Kent, if I say this right now, and let me ask you the question. You know, hey Barbie, hey Barbie, I'm thinking like we could probably be awesome friends, or we could start dating again. And I'm not really sure which one of those, but those are the two things that I'm thinking about. Like, where do you think that would go, Kent? Just from your just guess, what do you think Barbie would say? Your Barbie.
I think she would probably at least appreciate, like you said, that there's a plan, that there's a starting point. Because left her, seeing, when she came back early, and every step we've had living in the same house. Obviously, we've had some good conversations. I'm not going to lie, but I've continued to take half step back, and it feels like she has kind of emotionally been reaching out, but I'm just not ready for it. So I think she would appreciate something at this point. And if I were to answer, that bottom line, friend or date, I would probably start with, being friends right now and being as good a co-parents as we can be.
Got you. So I'm gonna add to that, Kent, and I'm gonna go ahead and mute you for a second. And just a little feedback: like you're in your private jet next to the window, and it's like just good enough Wi-Fi. It kind of comes in and out. Just some feedback. So that jet's really nice and everything, but maybe anyway. So I'm gonna give you some feedback here, Kent. You basically then made the choice. You said that sounds good. I need to do something. I've been taking continual half step back. So what I would suggest is then you just stop stepping back. You don't have to step forward again. Okay. Just stop stepping back. And you're going to say, I'm not sure about these two things. And then you gave the answer. You spoiled it. Okay. You don't spoil it. You spoiled it. You said, you know what I'd like to do is just be friends. And I'm exaggerating with I'd like to just be friends, like I don't really want to date you anymore. Like I'm just gonna be friends with you, which is your prerogative if that's what you want. But here's the thing, okay? If you want to be friends, it goes like this. I'd like to be friends with you. To be friends together, and you turn and you pivot and you move towards friends. Okay? You don't just be like, I want to be friends. It's I want to be friends. Get it? But here's my point. I'm not sure. You stop stepping back, you stand, you say, now watch my wry smile and shit, okay? I'm not sure which way that I want to go. Like, I'm thinking we could be awesome friends or we could start dating again. Okay. Cynthia, when I say that and then I put my hand in my mouth, give the guy some feedback from a coach of what am I doing when I say like, I'm thinking about these two things, good friends or maybe date again, smile, and then I shut up. What's your feedback as a coach when I just taught there?
It really invites the it invites the person to take a step forward and to take you seriously and to um, really get the message because you're not trying to fill in the space and you're not trying to um, control what they're thinking or how they're acting. So it's really inviting their fullness to show up in a responsible way.
So cool. Awesome. Kent, I want to get your response to Cynthia and Scott. I want to call on you. So if you're ready in like 30 seconds, I want to call on you. Cool. So Kent,
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, please.
Real quick. So Ken, so somehow at the way your internet blipped out, I think you said the phrase, I think she would really appreciate speaking right now or something, but it sounded like I think she would really appreciate some spanking right now. So I guess that's always another. We could just throw out Jeff's idea and see if that would work.
Yeah, never mind everything I just said. Like, I like Cynthia's idea. Spanking. You're right. What level is that? That's a different call. That's a different Zoom call. Cool. Kent, do you have any final thoughts for today on that moment?
No, I think that's good right now, and that's something I could act on fairly effectively. And I think she's been, wanting any type of certain level of closeness right now, whether it's like you said, friendship or having that conversation to know where I'm at. But it's been difficult for me to take that step. So got to practice, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll say you can do an activity with her that where it's still open. Like you go putt putt, you go throw horseshoes, you go, do like a carnival games, right? Stuff that's active, it's fun, not sit down dinner, right? Like something that's active and you can throw something around, play a game. You're facing the same way and you're throwing darts. You're not sitting face to face. You're facing the same way
Right.
playing a game. Then you can get a feeling from her and you don't have to like try to escalate or anything. You just play the putt putt game and you feel how you're feeling and you breathe into your belly and and it could go either way from putt putt, right? So that would be the activity suggestion that I would do, is to kind of feel your way into that.
Sure.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks. That was really good. I appreciate it. I'm going to mute you now. So Scott, yeah, please. Let's see if I can unmute you.
I unmuted myself.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, where do you want me to start?
Kent, I can't mute you. There we go. Awesome. Well, Scott, yeah, so just jump in. I feel like we were complete with Kent for that moment. So share with us, bud. Share your story. Share what your question is.
Well, I talked to you in November, I want to say, last year. Do you remember that?
You go for it. Yeah, share with them.
Yeah, okay. All right. All right, let's see. I think it started, I want to say for me, understanding it was starting to the end was probably a year and a half ago. My wife was in medical school and I work in a restaurant. So already you get kind of that dynamic where you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. She's going to be a doctor. She's going to school with hot dudes that are going to be doctors and all that kind of, bad wordplay in the mind. So from then, it was one incident basically. She had a friend come over, a hot dude. I was at work. Kids were at home. And she gave him a massage, and the only place in the house to do it was in a room. And so right away I was like, I didn't react. It took me a month to react, and then finally when I did, it was like a little kid going, "Why would you do that?" And just all the crazy reactions that I never wanted to come out of me.
Right.
And then from then on, it was me just being super vulnerable, sharing all my insecurities, and her just looking at me like, oh my God. And it's been up and down, and actually up since the quarantine. It's been actually really nice. I think Dan Dorr answered a few questions of mine on Facebook. Or no, he asked me a few questions. I answered them, and then I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Good. What are the questions? Yeah. What were some of the questions? Do you remember one of them?
Well, yeah, he was like, basically, I had said, oh, I found, she has a dating app on her phone, because we're going in and out of quarantine. She just got a new apartment, but she's moving out slowly. But we're still, I got this little guy right here. Hey. So I'm walking my,
gosh, that's awesome. So cool.
Walking my little buddy.
I love it.
Yeah, I got 2 boys. So, yeah. So basically, I put the question. I'm like, because I already know she's been with a few guys, since January, and I haven't been with anyone. So I think I was partly jealous. But I put it on there. I was like, oh my gosh, she has Bumble on her phone, and da 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 da. And then Dandor's like, so, what was it?
Yeah, so that's a good question.
Wait. So he's like, yeah. So what if one of the last question was, what if it's 10-foot dude inviting her for a hot dog party or something? And then I answered it, and I was like, yeah, who gives a shit? And from then on, I felt like this weight, this pressure, the pressure cooker was released, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's been up and down still, but I've been keeping my shit, and she's actually like trying to engage sexually with me now. She's like, can I sleep over tonight? And I'm like, tell us about that. Well, I'm kind of weak, so it's been happening. But at the same time,
no. Hold on. Oh, no. Hey, no. Hey, you're not gonna get away with that shit. You can't just throw the fucking "I'm weak" and then move on.
No,
it's not gonna fly. But so tell us more. What does that mean? Yeah.
It means that last 3 nights in a row. Yeah, buddy, I know. He's like, don't talk about mom. Last 3 nights in a row, she stayed over, and yeah, we've been having sex. So, and the funny thing is, it's like she engages, and then when we're done, I'll get that dumb look on my face, like, hey, that smiley look, and then she seems to turn off from there. So it's like when I'm not paying attention, oh, dude, I know I'm on the phone, boo. When I'm not paying attention, that's when it really excites her. When I'm not giving a shit.
Yeah.
But then, I fall back. I fall back into it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let me jump in for a second here. I'm going to mute you. So there's a couple things, and we're at 12:01 right now. We can't go too long today, so this will segue into tomorrow. But Scott, I want to give you something right here. Okay. So another level of relationship might be, well, I want to date her and we're having sex, ? Okay. Or maybe this is just sex. And I think that's what you're starting to insinuate here, is that she's just coming over for sex, but we're not actually having the relationship part. And I'm weak was what you said real fast, which thank you for being vulnerable, bro. Like, you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot for that. But it's like, I'm weak because I'm going to read between the lines. I'm weak because I want relationship with her, but when I take a step forward, she backs off. And so it seems like I'm not having relationship with her. It seems like that I'm being used as a sex object. Now, wow, did I just say a man's being used as a sex object? I did. You're a fucking good looking dude, man. You're a rock star. We talked about this. You're a rock star. I won't go. Yeah. Anyway, so you're a rock star. You're the fucking prize of your own life. And if you don't want to be just used for sex, then it's, what's my boundary around this? Okay. So let me use the tool. This is beautiful to use the don't be a tool. Okay. So, hey, Barbie, because every girlfriend's name is Barbie. Every wife's name is Barbie. That's what I'm going with. Hey, Barbie, I'd really like to chat about something for 5 minutes that I'm kind of embarrassed about. I'm really embarrassed about this thing. And I'll bet you think that I'm like, you could go a couple ways with this, Scott. I bet you think that a part of me is like really happy that, you're coming back and we're having sex together. And you're right. A part of me is really happy that we're connecting physically. And a part of me is scared because to be really honest with you, I'm concerned that this is like just a sexual thing, which is fucking great, Barbie. Like, holy shit, it's fucking awesome. But, I want relationship. And to me, so I'm scared to share that with you, that I want relationship, because I'm afraid that that's not what you want. And what I would like for us, your positive vision, what I would like for us is to start to connect in small ways. Like we're, maybe we're dating again, like it's college. So I can bring us to a sensual time, maybe it's like it's college again and we're dating again and we go play ping pong and, what activities again? We go play putt putt, we throw darts, we throw horseshoes, we play the Against Humanity cards. Against Humanity, is that the game? It's like, let's go do some college fun shit, together. That's like super easy for her to say yes to because it's supposed to be fun. And then we're back to what I was talking about with Kent, which is let's see if this is going to be like you see if it's going to grow into dating or you see if it's going to grow into friendship. And then you've got to make a decision, Scott, right? Of if you want to keep going with her, if it's just going to be friends with benefits, because it doesn't sound like that's what you want. We're here about relationship, guys, right? And so what I would like for us is to, like pretend like we're in college again and we're just starting to date. Let's go do some fun stuff. Let's go to the bar. We can play, we play beer pong, whatever you're going to do. It's fun. So, how does that sound to you? You want a how question or a what question? How does that sound to you? Or what does it sound like to you if we were to go play ping pong and shoot some pool and have a burger together, like we were in college again? Or go have some tacos. There's like Tito's Tacos here in Loveland. Super good tacos, right? Let's go have some tacos. What does that sound like to you? So Scott, what do you think about that? I'm going to unmute you. If I were to present it like that, how do you think your Barbie would respond to that? What would you guess?
I'm at a point where I'm enjoying time with her right now because it's been strange. We've been having a better time than we've ever had. But at the same time, I don't want the relationship back. I want to be co-parents with her. Oh, dude, I just slammed that. I want to be there for her when she needs it because I respect her and I still love her. But after what she had done to me, I understand that I don't think I can forget, the transgressions. And even after the fact that she said she didn't want to be together anymore, it was a transgression that just will scar me with her. But I'm enjoying the time with her, which is strange. But I just, after, we have sex, I look and I'm like, hey, I have that weird look on my face.
The like, what? I just got used? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Or like,
no, I'm satisfied and you look pretty. Look.
Okay. Well, if you just want friends with benefits, man, do you feel guilty about that?
Not at all.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing, dude. That's fucking awesome. I'd say that's a win for everybody then. She's wanting you to be detached. Sounds like, because if you move forward, she moves back, and you're having fun having sex with her. Now, you did say because I'm weak, so there's definitely something else there for you. I think you're maybe a little bit conflicted. Is that true? Are you a little bit?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. So
I would say so. Well, it's jumping back in. I've been with her for 8 years. I haven't been with anybody else since, not even kissed a girl. And it's just been like, I don't know. It's when I'm there, it's just so natural and it just feels easy. Right. So it is confusing because I do get those kind of feelings, but then I snap out of it once I see her turn away and I'm like, oh yeah, this is where we're at. And and when she's gone, I don't feel that, I'm not like thinking who's she with, what's she doing like I was before. So yeah. I'm at a crossroads. I am for sure. But right now, I'm not feeling those dreaded thoughts that I was before. When I talked to you in November, man, I was tripping out. I had no confidence. I was like, dude, what's going on with me, man? It was the weirdest time. And you looked at me and you're like, you called right when I told you the story. You said this to me. You said, how does it feel to be the babysitter that's getting pity sex? That's what you told me. And I was like, oh shit. And it rocked me, but it was good. It was like, okay. And that was the beginning of me, figuring out that this is real. This is happening and it's her decision and it's okay. So I'm in a better place. Oh my God. So I got
yeah. Awesome, dude. Okay. So you have just shared amazingly as a man, and it's funny. Like I'm gonna mute you just for the sound. So a part of me is like, "Fuck yeah, bro!" Right? And then a part of me is over here like, "Okay, the dude just said that he hasn't kissed another girl for 8 years, and he's really not sure if he's being used." And it's like, "Fuck, who cares, man?" And like, okay, yeah, but I know he's gonna want a relationship at some time. Fuck relationships, dude. You're fucking this hot chick and it's easy. It's like you should come. Yeah, dude, but and then she turns away from me. Uh, like, God, you're being such a bitch. Why don't you just, you know, don't call me a bitch. That's not cool. What the fuck are you talking about? We want a relationship with someone, right? Well, yeah, I guess, but it's easy though. It's easy. Like, so that's what I feel going on. I don't know if Kent, you got your beautiful boy, and I don't know, or Scott, I mean, you got your beautiful boy there. I don't know if you just saw what I just did, but it feels like there's two big wants in your life. Number one is you love being with her. Sex is great. It's easy. It's connected. It's validating, right? And then I think the other part of you does, you're eventually going to want relationship. I believe, right? So Scott, what do you want going forward? Maybe not with Barbie, but what do you want with a woman? If it's not Barbie, what do you want in relationship going forward sometime?
I want where I'm at now. I want that connection. I want someone I can just be with and not have to feel like or wonder if I'm making the wrong moves every second. And that's how it's kind of been lately with Barbie, sorry. Asian Barbie.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I did check out a couple websites, the Plenty of Fish, all that crap, just a scan around. And I've come to figure that I really don't exactly know what I want right now. So I just want to kind of be, I just want to be a father. I want to be, I want to start working again once this quarantine's over. I want my son not to fall into the water and get eaten by the koi fish.
Those are great wants. I love it.
Yeah.
Being a dad right now, experiencing life, it at least this, a lot of you is happy. A lot of you is happy, and I think some of you is on hold right now, right? Some of you is on.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
For sure, definitely hold. Yeah, I'm reserved. I have a lot of I've been hanging out with more of my girlfriends that I've had in the past. Not actually sexual girlfriends, but just friends.
Nice.
And it's been fun. I approach it as friends. I would always have this radar when I was younger, beep 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 beep. Are we gonna have sex? Beep 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 beep. And now I'm just kind of there, and it's just so easy, easier. Because I'm not putting that the feelers out that women feel. They know when you're sex arting them or whatever. So it's it's been a lot of fun, even in quarantine. It's been fun.
Good. I'm gonna put you on mute for today. I'd love, Scott, if you're able to come in other days this week. I don't have to put you on the spot like I did today, but if you have questions throughout the week, I'd love for you to do that. Cynthia, give some feedback on Scott's energy, if you will. And maybe we call this the good, the bad, and the ugly. Cynthia and I, in our free audiobook, we have sections that are called the good, the bad, and the ugly, where it's, okay, if it's kind of a shit show or it's complicated and messy, how do I move forward? Right? So Cynthia, what's your feedback either for Scott or on Scott's situation, please?
Well, Scott, thank you so much for sharing that. And Jeff, I loved your off to the side. I thought that was wonderful. The
Okay.
sides that exist in all of us. Scott, it felt really good when you were saying, I just kind of want to pause for a moment and enjoy what I enjoy and concentrate on being a dad. And I also could, even from a personal place, really resonate with the, having the physical connection with someone for the comfort and the ease. And I appreciate your confidence. I feel your confidence. And I also felt beneath that some incredible vulnerability of who you are as this amazing being and how much you love and how in tune you are with people. And the protector part of me wanted to actually even just wanted to kind of wrap around you and wrap around that part of you that is so sensitive. And I can see in the world that you make your way and you've got this incredible presence. But that was just my feeling is I could feel the vulnerability in you. And to me, that was very attractive, and it made me want to hear and know you more from that place.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Cynthia. A man being honored and revered like that is a core desire for men, and so I want to thank you on Scott's behalf for that. That's incredible. So, gentlemen, that's a great place to stop. We've got this topic all week long. Please bring your questions. We'd love to hear them. Visit us at greatmenmovemountains.com/cnote or /free audiobook for Cynthia and my. It's about 45 minutes. It's different than anything that you've heard before. It's phenomenal. I'm really hard on myself as far as projects, and I'm super proud of this. I give it an A+, and it's free. It's kick ass. Get the accompaniment as well. Make sure you do that. It's a 13-page ebook. It's a workbook. It's an inspiration. It's exciting and fun and easy to read and has layout of these tools. It's phenomenal. So thank you, Cynthia, for making that. And say goodbye, Cynthia. I'm going to take us out with some Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark. So it's my vulnerability song, right? We're dancing in the dark here, guys. We're all in it together, though. Fucking A. Let's shine a light on the dragon, shrink it down to size, and lead the way. Here we go. So, Cynthia, please say goodbye to the guys for today.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your presence, your masculinity, and your vulnerability. So thank you so much. I'ma tell you about a woman who's cold as tundra with some frozen eyes. I can tell by the way she moves that she cares.